Well, this one will be a little bit shorter than normal because I'm here in my grandson Charlie's room, and in a few minutes we're going to go get donuts. So, excuse me, let me find it here. In Psalm 25, and sorry, Psalm 25. Last time we looked at, in you, my Lord, Lord my God, I put my trust. I trust in you. Do not let me be put to shame, nor let my enemies triumph over me. And then he goes on and he offers, well, a principle. In verse 3, no one who hopes in you will ever be put to shame. Now that's a bold statement. No one who trusts in you or hopes in you will ever be put to shame. Let's start here. He says, I trust in you. I put my trust in you. I trust in you. No one who hopes in you. Now, there's a more than a little bit of a clear relationship, a corollary between trust, faith, and hope. Paul writes at the very end of the love chapter in 1 Corinthians 13, these three things last forever: faith, hope, and love. I've told you I struggle with trust. I struggle with faith a lot. I'm not, this does not make me happy, but it just happens to be a fact. And I also, it kind of is embarrassing to me, but I also struggle with hope. Have you ever tried to define hope? One aspect of hope, you can't separate desire from hope. So hope begins with a desire. One of the problems, in my opinion, or challenges is a better word, for hope is it begins in desire. Well, if your desires have been disappointed over and over and over again, or if it feels to you that they have, doesn't it make sense that it's going to be difficult to have, sense, feel hope? Because, see, hope is not simply an intellectual enterprise. It involves your intellect, but it's, in my opinion, hope is strongly an emotional thing. I feel hope. And here's the other thing. Hope is connected to a yet unexperienced thing. It's connected to the future. I hope for something that I don't yet have, haven't yet experienced, hasn't yet happened. Going back to the idea that when your experience with life has been a series of disappointed hope, when you think about the future, it's very difficult not to think about the future as a victim would. That's harsh to say, but hear me out. When my life experience has been dominated, back up a little bit. When it feels to me like my life experience has been dominated by disappointment, it is really difficult for me to see the future, even the present, as anything other than another time, another thing to be disappointed by. That is a victim thought. People, this is another thing I struggle with, is the victim thing. But to move away from that victim mentality, it requires the development of new thoughts, new meditations, new frames of mind that are hopeful. My friend Danny may be the most hopeful person I've ever met. He is so completely positive. The future doesn't scare him. But see, when you live a victim kind of life, everything scares you. That's the nature of being a victim, or feeling you're a victim. It's based in fear. Hope. Can you be afraid and still have hope? Yes, you can. But one or the other of those, they can coexist, but one or the other has to dominate. If fear dominates, hope will be pressed far, far, far back into the background. If hope dominates, fear will still exist, but it gets overwhelmed. Now, how do you overwhelm fear with hope? This is where its connection to faith is really important. It comes into play big time, in my opinion. My fear is overwhelmed by my faith, or can be. And when it is overwhelmed by faith, by trusting in God, I can hope. In my opinion, it's impossible to hope without faith. Now, some of the hope aspect, and I know I'm going on and on about this, has a little bit to do with your temperament. Some, again, my friend Danny, his temperament sets him up just the way he's wired is positive and enthusiastic, unless he's sick. And even when he's sick, he's fairly enthusiastic. Well, I guess what I'm saying, or what I want to say, is when I can trust in him, and remember, David said, when I put my trust in God, hope becomes available to me. Hope is a subject that doesn't get very much airtime in churches today, and I wish it would. At some point, I'm going to come back and do just a topical study of hope in the Bible and hope in our lives. David writes, "No one who hopes in you, the Lord, will ever be put to shame." Really? Well, it depends. Again, it depends on your frame. If the frame is short term, then that concept doesn't wash. But if you look at the long term, it works. There are people who have put their hope in the Lord. They have put their trust in the Lord. And life doesn't work out according to a pretty plan. It's still got junk in it, and harm and hurt and pain. And so does all that go away when I hope in the Lord and I put my trust in him? No. It's still present. But when there is hope, trust that makes hope possible, when that is there, I have a sense, a level of confidence that it's going to all be okay. Well, no one who hopes in the Lord will ever be put to shame. Here's the challenge, and then I'm going to close out. Put your trust in the Lord. And I have to do that often, every day, many, many times in every day. And when I do that, hope becomes available to me. So the challenge is, put your trust in God, and learn to open your heart and mind to hope. I'll see you next time on Soul Care with Stevie Boy.